There's no way I can throw away these hydraulic hose holders. The girls are gonna have a blast selling these at an auction whenever I die. You know? Maybe I'll use one of them in the next 30 years or so. So this absolute beaut of a unit, we got this rig for free. This was a diesel powered compactor, vibratory motors right here in the middle. And then there's motors on each end, hydraulic motors in each one of these drums. The guy that had it left it here a long time ago. I messaged him, said, you care if I have that thing? How much you want for it? He said, I don't want anything for it. Just take it and make something cool. So that's what we're doing. We took the diesel power pack off the top. We're gonna reuse that for a diesel powered log splitter in the future is the goal. What we're doing with this is pretty much taking that side off, and we're gonna try to rig this up so we have a vibratory roller that goes on that 304 excavator behind us. Today's goal is to get this thing stripped down, cut down to size, some more measurements for steel. We've got pins and some other things made, and try to get to the next step on this. Just heads up. We're gonna do the right thing when we can't find the right size. Or just gonna jam a Torx in there. So there should be a motor on each side, and we'll find out when we take these drums off because we're gonna strip those motors out. So we're gonna pull everything out of the inside of this. There should be a motor on each side. One of these is supply, one's return for each motor. And this should be a case drain for both of them. And then they came together, the case drains came together in this little junction block and then all ran back into one case drain, back into the tank. Well, I didn't expect that. Razzle dazzle goes a long way. So we're not worried about dirt getting down in here because we're taking it all apart anyway. None of this hydraulic stuff are we reusing in our project. Because we're gonna have to torch off through here. Let's go ahead and get these little dirt rakes off. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3 bolts there. Debating on if I want to pull the drums after I cut it or before I cut it. I'm only pulling the drums on the side we're using. I think we'll pull the drum after I cut it. See if I can get it up in the air just a little bit. Gotta account for bleed off here, don't we? It'll be a little bit of an awkward cut, but we'll see what happens. I'm gonna do the bottom first, and then we can do the top last. That way we're not underneath it when she breaks loose, you know what I mean? We'll do some preheat because she's pretty thick steel. Not a lot of room over here. I can't really see my cut, but I'm watching what the slag's doing on the other side. And as long as it's shooting out pretty straight, then we're probably getting through all right. If the slag disappears, then we're probably just blowing back. Sure, we still got some we're missing, but we'll pick it up, give it a few whacks with the hammer, and see what happens. Yeah, let's get us more with the torch. Do some work from this side. I can see some pretty big spots we missed. That's right, spots that we missed. We are in this together. Clean my tip real quick. Get it looking a little better. Don't want to do that part on camera though. Goes against the community guidelines. Nice thing about this versus that cast counterweight we did the other day is we can actually use the torch on this. You can't use a torch on cast. A lot of people said, how come you didn't use the torch? You can't. It doesn't cut it. If it's thin, you can make a mess out of it and cut it a little bit. But when you start getting something that thick, it's just not gonna do it. Not with my setup. You guys are kind of in my way here. I'm trying to get you in here, but I also got work to do, you know. So I'm just going slow, angling up, and kind of going left and right a little bit, just widening the whole thing out. That way I can find those spots I missed. By no means am I giving tips, because I'm kind of self-taught, so I don't know exactly what I should be doing. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. We're getting pretty close. I'm gonna lower this so it's not as catastrophic for us. Yeah. That's outpatient level, you know? You get too high, you're gonna be there overnight. You don't want that kind of injury. Beautiful. Terrifying, but beautiful. So I'm thinking the easiest way to pull that drum is if we just flip this upside down. See if I can get that piece out of the way first, then we'll. Look, now we're just playing. Now we're just playing. Oh. Close enough. I've got to assume there's some kind of oil in here. There's a plug right there, would be my guess. I'm guessing these hold the actual drum on, and this gives us access to a planetary maybe, but I'm not 100% sure. We're gonna start by taking this off, so if there is some oil, we can get that drained out. Let's see what happens here first. Oil. Oh, glittery oil. They make these really cool things that you can like form to make a custom funnel you can buy. But for every gallon of antifreeze, they give you these for free. Even has a drain spout. Question is, how much is in here? That is something I don't know. But here's the good news. With this fancy funnel system, we just add the extension kit. The naive me thought I just beat on that and it'd come loose. I just noticed these right here. I bet if I clean them out, they're threaded. Maybe we can run some short bolts in to walk this cover off. That's what we're looking at. I don't think I'm gonna, well, hold on. Could be 1/4 by 28. Let's try that. Nope. Just in case an engineer's watching and designing something, imagine if you made these threaded holes here for pulling this hub off, the same size as the bolts that came out. So you could literally just pull this out and run it in. Imagine if you did something like that. It'd be your friends would like you more. So this threaded size, it's just kind of an odd size. It's that M7, and I definitely don't have anything like that. I went over and checked at Dirt Perfect shop too. He doesn't have anything like that either. M6 to M8. M7's kind of a weird size, but that's definitely what we are. So that's odd, a little oddball size, and I don't have anything to do to pull that off. The other thing, I might be able to try to get a pry bar and walk it. We could try that real quick. I mean, I'm getting movement like that. But I am getting movement like that, so maybe we can work our way around it here. Oh yeah, it's gonna come off like that. Okay. Let's pull these out the rest of the way. I left those on in case she came off in a violent fashion. There we go. Beautiful. Just a big old planetary. We're just going to keep taking stuff off until we get to what we want to get to. I basically want to see how this all works. Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. Huh. Probably not the best way if we want to save this, but I bet it'll work for what we need to do. Uh-oh. Well, they're all broke loose. They'll run them with the impact now. Now I'm thinking, with some effort, this drum will come off of here. Oh my gosh, that is a ringing sound. We're gonna try an experiment. I know you're thinking, Mike, that's a lot of work for something you probably don't need to do to make this roller for the excavator work. I hear you, I do. I also need to tell you something else that I haven't told you yet. The internal components of the other one and some of the internal components of this one, I've got an idea for another project. So not only are we trying to figure out the roller for the 304, but we're exploring some options for something else. A couple projects we already have in motion. I'd like to utilize some of these parts. I don't know, just like I haven't known on the other ones, but I do have hammers. And let's see what happens. Hammer's the answer. Looks like I'm missing one though, because she just kind of bounced instead of coming off. Look at that. Let's see if we can choke this and lift it up on the workbench over here. So you remember the hydraulic lines that came in through the top? They go down through this plate and they come out of these ports right here. One's supply, one's return, and one's gonna be the case drain. And you can see where we're at for the motor right here. And they just made it up right there. Pretty wild. I'm gonna guess that's the case drain since it's a soft hose, softer hose. I think if we just take these four out, that whole thing will pull right out of the center of that planetary. But I think we have to leave the rest of that planetary in place to hold the bearing where it needs to go. Suppose we'll have to disconnect the hydraulic lines too. That kind of makes sense. That's got. Okay. I didn't think they'd split the pump. I thought that would separate the pump. So it'll come in pieces. Oh, cool. Not what I wanted. Dang it. So what I had hoped was going to be in here, what actually is in here, is two different things. I was hoping it was going to be a hydraulic motor with a shaft that came out of it and ran down to that planetary, and that motor was something I could pull out and utilize in something else. One idea that I'd had is using one of these motors and rigging something up on the back side of this gill where I could do a little bit of power on that. I don't have enough oil cooling on that to run it all the time, but I could, stir it up every now and then. Then I thought about putting brackets on that where I could hook this on the 304 and run that off the 304 for a little bit of a touch-up machine. And knowing this had a hydraulic motor of some sort in it, I was hoping that it would be something we could make utilize for that. But instead what we've got, the motor itself is a part of the whole planetary housing. Attaches to that. This is also part of the motor. So that's not going to work how I want it. I'm still going to go ahead and pull this out because it'll be a spare motor for what we're going to do with the other side. The other side I think will still work fine, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So in case you can't figure out what we're doing here, I got to make a block off plate. I'll also have to pick up a bolt to act as a plug. I feel like we need to keep oil inside of this thing to protect the bearing and make that bearing last longer. So in order to keep the oil in, we're just gonna make this block off plate so the oil can't get to this side of it, because there is no seal between this and the frame. It's just mated surface to mated surface. There's no seal there, and oil will leak around that. So we're gonna do this. And believe it or not, even though it seems absolutely insane as I say it now, because this is before I'm doing it, I'm just voicing over in the middle of the driveway for no reason, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the motor out of the other one as well. And the main reason is that component's not getting used. I don't want something to happen to where we just plug the lines and then there's too much pressure, it doesn't work, or I don't know. Seems like if it's not getting used, we need to take it out of there, put another block off plate on that side, and then that way we don't have any components on here that could fail or break or seize up or cause us issues down the road when we're using this thing. Time consuming, yeah, that's for sure, but the amount of time it would take me to work to buy something like this brand new, it's not that time consuming, because that would be time consuming. And this way, whenever I go do work, we can take that money and build other cool things and do other neat, fun things that I've never done before. Because that's life, man. I don't know. You can listen. You can sit around doing nothing. You know, you can sit around like, I don't know how to do that, and it's going to take me too long to do what I want to do, and it's possible. That's a possibility. But even if it does take you too long or longer than you want, at least it's done. It's not going to happen if you just sit there and worry about not doing it. You know, you gotta go. There's exceptions. I wouldn't start an elevator company if you don't know what you're doing. That doesn't seem like a good idea. You know, probably shouldn't just buy an airplane at an auction and start a charter service. That's probably not wise either. But yeah, stuff like this, yeah, go for it. What's the worst that could happen? You know, there's a lot of bad things. All right, and if they happen, listen, you took the initiative. I'm just mentioning that the initiative's there for you to take. Now, I'm not liable if you cut a compactor in half and it falls on you because you hung it from your excavator in a poorly thought out manner. So that one only took about an hour to get off compared to the other one took like 4. It's amazing how much quicker it goes the second time. Same thing, we'll make a block out plate for that, and we'll do that in a future video next time we work on this. I've got 2 of these from the machine shop. Matches what's on the bucket here behind me. That's the bucket I took them. And we've got the pins for these as well, and some reinforcement collars that'll go right here for those pins. Here's the thing though, because it's gonna be vibratory, I want some isolation between this and the machine. So I reached out to the same fellow that gave me this and asked if he had any ideas, and he did. He sent something in the mail. He sent 4 isolation pads. They're just like this. This is 2, so you know there's 2 other ones inside the shop. You guys are pretty good at math, right? The idea that he had is we take a piece of steel separate from this. So we would attach one isolation pad to the roller side of this, and then up here we attach a pad to, let's call, the machine side of the operation. And that way, whenever we're putting pressure on it with the machine, 1, it's locked in because it's like a V, and 2, all the vibration and vibratory, it's in these pads here, and it has a little give to it. And then here we would have some chain. So whenever you pick it up, the chain is what keeps it attached to the machine, and then when we're pushing down rolling, this is what causes that to lock in. So what I gotta do now, take this piece of cardboard right there, and we're gonna kind of mock something up here. All right, I keep modifying the plan, but I think we're gonna leave this the way it is. We're gonna attach 2 of them right here, and then we'll attach 2 of them lengthwise like this. We're gonna get another piece of plate made that mirrors this. Like that. So there you go, a little bit more progress on the compactor roller attachment for the old Cat 304. I don't know if it would benefit or not. I don't know if it'll work or not, but I do know that I've got those motors off and I can look up the stats on those hydraulic motors and see what we're looking at. What would be really cool is if we could take a way to mount one of those planetaries right up here and attach it to the drive shaft and have some hydraulic assist on the dump trailer. It wouldn't be a lot, but we got to look up those motors and see what they are. Hopefully they're a low speed, high torque kind of motor thing, and then we got to see how much torque they actually have for the flow rate that we've got on the backhoe. But it would be very cool to have a hydraulic assist dump trailer. Again, it wouldn't be much, but you know, if it could get you through that initial rock and roll getting going somewhere, it'd be pretty handy. If it's your first Captain Kleeman video, then welcome to the compactor roller build. It's not a huge priority on the list. It's one of those things we work on when one of our other 37 projects somehow doesn't have enough material to move forward, which is the great thing about having 37 projects, because when 36 of them don't have what you need, the 37th one, yep, you know, we're ready to go. We'll be back on the YouTube yacht in the next video though. So if you came for the roller, I hope you come back to see a boat-themed cabin being worked on, because that's kind of fun. And if you've been with us for a while, I know in the previous video I said we'd be working on the boat in this video, but it rained a lot yesterday, and the next thing we're working on is flashing down on the bottom side and the ceiling underneath there, the sealant, not like the ceiling on the roof, the sealant on the ground. And the concrete was all wet, so I didn't want to trap a whole bunch of moisture underneath the wall and do that. So I need to let it dry out today, but tomorrow that's what we're going to be doing. So on the next video, you'll get to see more progress on what is one of your favorite builds, the YouTube yacht. At least it's somebody's favorite build, you know what I mean? What was that? Who does? What is this? I don't know what to do with my hands sometimes. I don't know. I ran into Tractor Time with Tim at the Utility Expo. He's like, man, you can hear it in your voice. You're getting tired of working on that thing. I was like, man, I thought I was hiding it better than that, but I guess I'm not, you know? I guess I'm not. And that's okay. We're tired of it, but we're gonna finish it. What else are you gonna do?